Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Every day I'm hustling, 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 hustling. Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling.
BoxingVoice.com.
What broke him down? Was it just the body punching? When I was hitting him with body punching, I heard him, actually he was crying in there. You were saying that Biggs was crying when you hit him? When did that happen? And perhaps the fourth round on?
BoxingVoice.com.
So that you knew you had him by that time? Absolutely, but I knew he was tough and they're taking those punches.
Beyonce Productions.
Making women gestures like, oh.
Let's go, champ.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. Today, we're here to discuss the doubleheader just announced today. Matchroom and DAZN. Shout out to Eddie Hearn putting Richardson Hitchins in another great opportunity. This will be an IBF title eliminator. So it looks like Richardson Hitchins will continue his route for a world title shot in the IBF sanctioning body. And Jack Catterall seems to have pulled out of the situation. So in steps in Gustavo Lemos, and Gustavo will be Hitchins' opponent. Now, for those that don't know Gustavo, he is actually a 135-pounder. He already had an IBF eliminator with Lee Selby, but that was at 135. He's had a few fights at 40, and he will be moving up for this opportunity. And we'll see. Many are saying that Hitchins will be running in this fight. I think that while Gustavo has some power, I don't see the skills necessary. He's a little raw. Maybe if he had a switch of trainers and some time, right? I don't even think that him getting with a Robert Garcia at this moment, or getting with, you know, who else is a good Spanish trainer? You know, I don't know. Robert Garcia, Manny Robles. The issue is I don't know that there will be enough time. This fight is taking place April 6th. Your co-main event is another very good fight. You got Shawn McCalman coming off of his win over Money Powell, and he's taking on the big punching Diego Pacheco. I think Diego is on about a 9-knockout fight streak. So, you know, for Diego, he's doing his thing. For McCallum, this is certainly a step up for him, and we'll see what he can do, you know, with this step up against Diego Pacheco, who has been making a name for himself, you know, already. For Hitchins, you know, there are a lot of people that are confused, and I don't know why. He said what he said about the rehydration clause that the IBF has, which is a 10-pound rehydration. 10-pound rehydration that, you know, if the day of the fight, you have to get on the scale and you got to make sure that you don't weigh above 10 pounds from that limit. So you weighed in 140 the day before, you got to weigh in 150 the night of the fight. And, you know, that is something that Hitchins had an issue with, something that he did a few interviews about and made it clear that that was an issue, and that may be one of the reasons why he wouldn't go down that IBF route. But He is. He is. So this means, obviously, that he is willing to fight Subriel Matias for the IBF junior welterweight title because this is an IBF eliminator. And again, many were speculating that he didn't want to do this because of his interview. But in fact, Jack Catterall is the one that pulled out of these, ordered negotiations by the IBF. Now, think about this. Gustavo Lemos is number 8. So there was quite a few people ahead of Lemos that did not take this opportunity, is what we have to assume. And Gustavo Lemos, number 8, as I am highlighting, Taylor didn't take it, and he's coming off a loss. Maybe he felt, that Richardson Hitchins style is just too much off of a loss. Regis didn't take it. Maybe he thought, fuck, I just fought someone like that in Devin Haney. I don't think I want that. Ryan Garcia, he's had his own negotiations fail. And then, obviously, Jack Catterall, who had already pulled out. And Hitchins, who is the number 3. 2 and 1 are vacant. Your champion, Subriel Matias, as we're screen sharing here on YouTube.com/The Boxing Voice. Don't forget, in about another 22 minutes, we will be having Darius Fulghum on the show. He's scheduled to be on the Golden Boy card where Jaime Munguia will be headlining versus John Ryder. We'll be having Darius Fulghum on the show in just a bit. And, we're talking some hardcore boxing here, man. This isn't for everybody, right? Gustavo Lemos, you had to seek him out to watch it, right? I mean, somehow he was able to get Lee Selby to his country of Argentina. So, the Lee Selby fight wasn't even on a network that we're familiar with, but it is on YouTube. And a few other fights. He's only been fighting once a year for the last couple of years, so it's not like he has a bunch of activity. So he certainly has that against him. Richardson Hitchins is certainly active and no rust. Timing, everything is clicking for Hitchins. He's been active. Matchroom's done that. And, I foresee a big win. Gustavo's moving up for one. He's already short. Hitchins already tall and long. This is a big task for Gustavo, who is a wide and fat puncher, as Teddy Atlas would say. So I really don't see him getting the upset, but you never know. Power certainly changes things. Certainly changes things. Now, Shawn McCalman taking on Diego Pacheco. We will be having Shawn McCalman on the show Thursday at 8. So if you want to ask him a question, join our Patreon or our YouTube members. Drop him a question and, say, hey, my name is Diego from Phoenix, and this is my question. So that he knows, that he's got fans all over. Same thing for Darius. You still got time to drop Darius a question and have that answered right here live on the show. He'll be on at 7:30. Richardson Hitchins, look, man, this is a good step up for him. Not up, rather. This is a good fight for him that puts him in position. He hasn't had a promoter that's doing as much as Eddie is doing for him. This is his second headline now, which, some people might take offense. Diego Pacheco, probably a little further along in his career, probably a little more television friendly, and didn't get that main event or headline status. Instead, he is the co-main. So you got to credit Eddie Hearn, and you got to be grateful if you're Hitchins, because Eddie is definitely putting him in position and, keeping him very active, man. Keeping him very active. This is a good fight for Hitchins. I mean, again, everything points to Hitchins being the A side here, right? He's taller than Limon. He's longer than Limon. He's naturally the bigger fighter. Limon is moving up. So Hitchins in a very good position here. Eddie doing exactly what he needed to do for Richardson. Again, the Selby fight was at 35 for Limon. That's probably his biggest name, but he's not a small guy. Throughout his career, he certainly fought at 40 and close to it. But not the biggest of punchers, When you consider a puncher 19 KOs out of 30, almost 30 fights, I don't know. It's obviously more than 50%, but I don't know. He does give me Diego Chavez vibes, who was also from Argentina. And this is what he looks like. Gives me those Diego Chavez vibes for real. He really does look like Diego. But I just think he's too fat with his punches. There's no way that he'll be able to really, do enough to win the fight, in my opinion, unless he lands one of those big looping shots on Hitchins and that chin just crumbles. I really can't see him, beating Hitchins. I just can't. I really can't. Selby did well. Selby did very well, and he just didn't do great defensively, right? Like, it's not like you can't see Gustavo loading up. So we'll see what Hitchins does, who, in his last two fights certainly showed to be a boxing talent. The way he dismantled Bauza and then Zepeda. I'm interested to see, can a pressure fighter pressure him, or is his composure and accuracy just too much for his competition? But phone lines are open if you want to call in. We got about another 15 minutes before we get Darius Fulghum on the show. If you want to talk about the doubleheader, Richardson Hitchins taking on Gustavo Lemos, Shawn McCalman taking a very tough assignment to get in the ring with Diego Pacheco. So phone lines are open. We're going out to Noble in Vegas. What's up?
Peace. Peace and blessings. I'm in Toledo right now, man. Just got them picking up. I ain't in Vegas right now. But Richardson Hitchins is he's Haitian, right? He's not from Africa. He's actually from Haiti, right?
Yeah, he represented Haiti in the Olympics.
Without a doubt, that's what I thought. And then I noticed that Eddie went to go see and negotiate, sit down, or just chat it up with Sabril Matias when they was in Phoenix for that other fight, right, with the same promoter. And so what I'm saying is this: I see in the future coming up, I wouldn't be surprised to see Richardson Hitchins actually go for that IBF belt and end up coming together with Sabril Matias. And I think it'll be an excellent fight, man. I would look forward to that. And then in addition to that, man, I got Pacheco. Over McCalman. You know what I mean? That's it, man. Shout out to the breast cancer warriors. Shout out to the breast cancer survivors. And definitely shout out to the breast cancer angels. All right. Peace, Ness.
All right. No, this is not Federico Pacheco. This is actually Diego Pacheco taking on Shawn McCalman, for the ones asking in the chat. So it's not Federico, but I'm sure Federico will be on the undercard. Shout out to Federico, the heavyweight Pacheco. We got Nike Hendricks, Twitter check-in.
Shouts out to the boxing voice, man. Shouts out Ness, Danny, whole team. So Richardson Hitchins got a fight with Lemos.
Gustavo
Who?
Lemos.
Lamone. Okay. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't too familiar with that guy, Ness. What is he? See what? Has he ever been a champ or not?
Never been a champ. Never been a champ. Biggest win is Lee
Has he been
Selby.
like international or anything?
Yeah, I mean, he fought UK's own Lee Selby, the Welsh Mayweather.
Okay. Well, I mean, I have to look it up, man. I don't really too much know about him and what McCallum and Pacheco. What that's the undercard?
Pacheco, not Pistachio, Pacheco.
Nah, I ain't say pistachio. I said Pacheco. I messed his name up, but you said Pa. Damn, I can't pronounce. I'm gonna call him Pat.
Pacheco.
Oh, okay, Pacheco. Okay,
Yeah,
Pacheco.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, what division that is?
168, Canelo's division. He's top 5.
Oh, okay. The 168 starting to light up. Okay, they need to come back to the glory days like when Roy was up there, man. For real. Well, yeah, man, I'm gonna be listening in, man, catching my knowledge. I ain't really too hip on this one. I ain't but I ain't gonna fake this like these other motherfuckers who say they're hardcores. They not. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I'm not a casual or hardcore. I'm in between. I just get my knowledge as I go. But I do like the sport. I am a fan of a boxer, though. Haney my favorite boxer, but I still like the sport. That's why I told you I ain't too fond of this. But I'm gonna keep listening in and check it out. See what they got to say about it. That's my call, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, even the hardest of hardcores don't really know Gustavo. It's crazy. All this time I thought he was with Samson Lewickovich. He's not. He's with like MR Promotions or Ormery, or I don't know, something like that. Omer Promotions, I don't know. Not a lot to do. Look, you can go watch this 2023 fight that he just had in December. It was a 1-round knockout. You know, the Lee Selby fight, you can go watch that. That was last year. As you can see, he's really only fighting once a year. In 2021, he had 2 fights, but they were in Argentina. And, obviously, he was in position. He came in overweight, and he lost his position. But not really, right? Because 1 year later, he's back in position at another weight class. So I say all that to say it's not a lot of homework to do. YouTube has the Javier Clavero fight and the Lee Selby fight, and really there's nothing else for you to watch. There's plenty of other fights. They're just 4 years old and 5 years old, and you can watch them, to get a handle on his style, but they're just older. But, shout out to YouTube that at least, we can reference to and check out his style. I got Leonard Sterling, first super chat of the day, 5-pounder. He says Lemons was IBF 135 mandatory. Lost his position. He missed weight last year, 8 pounds, pulled him from the fight. He had to move up. Could not make 135 anymore. Well, there you go. Scotty Dippin, I keep seeing you I keep seeing you mention Hitchins don't want the IBF. I think that we need to stop saying that. This is an IBF eliminator. Like, this is literally showing you he's okay with fighting Subriel Matias. Like, why are you paying sanctioning fees? Why are you going through an eliminator if you don't want to fight the champ? So, I mean, you guys need to just stop saying that. It's getting corny. Amazon Prime. What up?
What's going on, Ness?
What's up, bro? Who's this?
This is Josh in Dallas.
What's good, Josh? Talk to us.
All right, so I wanted to say shout out to Hitchins. And he recently re-signed with Eddie also with I think another 3-fight deal. So that's really good for Hitchins. I feel like Eddie's kind of gonna make him have to go down that Matias road though. There's no really other light for him. Besides the WBC, but yeah, he'd have to try to get a fight with Sandor, which I feel like that's a good petition right there. Since Devin Mandatory isn't for 12 months, he get a petition with the WBC. I think he's like number 2 or 3. But even going down the IBF route, it's clear as day for him if he wants to do it. So, shout out to Eddie for picking up these Americans who didn't have a home. I think I don't know if you're interviewing Kenneth Sims soon, but somebody needs to tell him that I think Matchroom is the home for him because he's not
Matchroom
he
got
ain't a big enough name for PBC, man.
No, I know, but they gotta want him. Matchroom gotta want him, right? Like, Kenny Sims, what's his hometown? Chicago. We haven't seen.
Yeah, but he's ranked number 2, Ness.
Yeah, number 2, but
who doesn't want him?
He keep getting overlooked, right? Like he had an eliminator last year for the WBA, but somehow O'Hara and Basurro and Rowley are all intertwined there. So where exactly does Kenny Sims fit? I am trying to get him on.
Well, that's because he's promoted by Vito Melanicki's dad.
Again,
he ain't promoted by PBC. He's just getting on PBC shows because of Vito.
Again, Matchroom gotta want him. Matchroom gotta believe that position that he got, they could do something with.
Yo, Ness, man, you need to talk to Joe or what's the guy that dates Eubanks Eubanks' daughter that works at Matchroom?
Frank Smith.
You gotta talk to one of them, man, and get on the scout roster because these are even with this Pete Dawson guy. I never seen him, but
the thing is
I
this,
heard
right?
about
Like
him on PBV.
Yeah, but you and I like Kenny Sims. We gotta learn what metrics they using to gauge what a fighter could sell and draw. Like we like Kenny Sims because he could fight, but is he gonna bring in some tickets and money for them? Is it worth them promoting him? Because Montana, at least he proved he could sell in his own hometown. He was doing it on his own. He was putting on shows on his own, so he could at least show Matchroom like, look, I sold 2,000, I sold 3,000 tickets. I did this show on my own.
Yeah, well, it's time for Eddie to take a risk on him. I'll pay for a counterpunch. This. It's time for Eddie to take a risk on him.
But do you take
a risk? The time
is
now because he's ranked number 2, so he's got time for 2 fights. If Barroso is not an option right now, he's got time for 2 fights.
I don't know, man.
Put him on the undercard of a good card, and then you.
That's just a tough
put him
position,
in the main event.
man. That's just a tough position. Can you remember the last time Matchroom and PBC was in a purse bid situation?
Oh no, Nez. But you don't know that this is his last fight. That's why PBC's stalling him.
What you mean? This is his last fight?
This is his last fight on his PBC GH3 little contract.
Oh, Kenny Sims?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he gonna re-sign, bro. He won some sort of WBA version. I'm depending what Vito wrote in that contract. Let me see, man. I can find out.
Yeah, we gotta speak it into existence, man. We need Sims out of there. The zone is picking up all the Americans who don't sell tickets right along with
I don't know about
all
that. What Americans are they picking up?
Shit, they picked up Hitchins.
Bro, that was a while ago, and obviously he panned out. He beat Bowser, you know what I'm saying? He beat Zepeda. He showed them that he the goods.
Sims is right there. All he needs is some backing. All he needs is some petitions written.
I'm not saying you lying. I'm just saying, you know, I just don't know that GH3 didn't write that up. Like, if you win a world title, that extends you. Like, he won some sort of WBA with GH3. They're not about to just let him walk.
Okay, yeah, I hear you. But listen to this too, though, Ness. Just like I was saying that they need better scouts. America been telling Eddie Montana was a fraud. He could have grabbed Kenneth Sims instead of Montana.
Yeah, but who got a bigger following? That's what I'm saying. Like, who proved to sell tickets? Not that they brought him home, because he ain't really paying. I mean, they did bring him home. He did bring him home.
They did, and he he flipped Steve Sparks out the ring. Good job.
All right, but was it bad ticket sales? Like, that's what I'm saying. The promoter still got to make money. He can't just be out here doing favors for you.
Yeah, but look how Montana was promoted. He got promoted after that Jake Paul splash. He got promoted well. He was on a Devin Haney co-main.
Yeah, but that was Jake Paul.
He was on a Canelo card, wasn't he?
But that was Jake Paul. That wasn't that Jake Paul fight that he got is what got him the Matchroom deal. But
yeah. But I'm saying after that Jake Paul, he was promoted. He was promoted well on Matchroom. He was co-main with the dog.
They took a chance with him. They took a chance with him.
Man,
and it didn't pan out.
You don't say.
Yo. Did he drop off? The fuck? Amazon Prime? Hold on a sec. Damn, I'm about to get my interview too. Yo. Well, hopefully everything is good, because I should begin my interview in a few minutes. All right, so Darius seen the message and got the link, so we're just waiting on him. I don't know, I'm restarting Discord. I don't know what happened there to my caller. Darius, how are you?
My guy. How's it going, man? You good?
I'm good. Everything is good. Happy to have you on the show, man. Big fight for you, man. Big fight for you. Big step up. Alantez Fox. You know, certainly a guy that's been around the block, you know, an opponent that the public knows. What was your thoughts on getting the call to face Alantez Fox, and how long did you have in terms of notice?
Well, I'd say it definitely was surprising when I got the call that he accepted the fight. But it made me happy because there were some other opponents that was on the table that was talked about. But then when they mentioned him, I said, "Oh man, that's a perfect opponent." Because just like you said, I mean, he's a name. He's been around the block. He fought for a world title. You know, may not have won one, but he's a credible opponent, and I think he's a perfect guy to really show where I'm at. You know, to really demonstrate to the public where I'm at. So I make a statement this fight. You know, it's easy to then make the comparison on how I did against him compared to how other people did with him. So I'm just really blessed and excited for the opportunity.
Man, that's so funny that that's what you're thinking about, because that's exactly where I was going. Like, you got this knockout streak. Now you're being put in there with a guy that we know is durable. So it's kind of like it gets to test how real your power is. If you, you know, can you get Alantez Fox out of there like some of the people that have faced him in the past, or can you not? But you're already thinking about the comparison. So are you yourself looking forward to comparing your performance to some of these other guys that may have beat him?
I look, and I think ultimately I always will say I never put too much pressure on myself for that. But I mean, realistically, that's just how the business of it is, you know. And that's ultimately how I got to put my name out there. And so my whole goal is in any fight really is to make a statement. And so, I mean, I don't look at this fight any different than really any other fight, but I do understand the magnitude of it that, even an opponent like this can push me up the rankings a lot.
For sure, and there's a WBA Intercontinental Super Middleweight title on the line, so that's gonna absolutely, push you up those rankings.
I mean, that's the whole goal. Really, at the end of the day, is just keep climbing the rankings because once you start tapping into the rankings that through either the sanctioning bodies, they're the ones that control. They put you in a position where you can really fight for these titles. And Canelo obviously holds all the belts right now, but I think eventually all those belts will open up for free for all for everybody to grab. So I just want to put myself in a position, which will take a little bit of time. I'm not naive to think it's going to happen immediately, even if I put on a dominant performance now. But I'm mindful of that on even after this fight. I'm about to just keep putting on, get back in the gym, and keep putting on dominant performances fight after fight.
Yeah, I mean, Alantez, been in there with some of the best. Demetrius Andre, David Morrell, who's red hot right now. Beck the Bully, who is known as a puncher. Have you watched tape on him, or you've only watched him from fights in the past when you were just a fan?
All right, now I watched tape on him, especially now I fought. I mean, we actually fought on the same card, on Zerto's card, the one he fought Beck. I think I was actually the fight right before he went. And that's why I said it was even more crazy that we were talking at the press conference at the fight. I had no idea that we would probably fight, and that was just 2 fights after that, for me. So it's so crazy how the world really works. But I knew of him. I've seen his fights before, and even then when I got the call that it was him, he has a lot of tape out there for me to watch, so I did study him.
So obviously being on the same fight, talking to him in the past, you didn't really size him up, but he's a tall guy. Him and his brother go by the Fox Towers. You're not short, you're 6'1". So how much of a difference was it for you, I guess, when you were face to face?
It was a bit. I mean, he is tall. I mean, he said he's 6'5", and I believe it. And I didn't question it. But the thing that I do like about this matchup too, is the optics of it, right? Optically, when you see a guy like that, what's the first thing I'm gonna ask you this question for it? What's the first thing you think of when you see a tall fighter and how they would fight?
I mean, ideally, you want them to fight tall and long, but that's not always what tall fighters do. I mean, I think of Paul Williams. I think of Jamal James. They don't use their height and reach.
You say Fundora the same way. But stereotypically, a lot of viewers that don't really know boxing, when they watch it, they automatically assume him to be the longer fighter. He should be using his jab. And I think that's a big takeaway I wanted people to recognize when they watch the fight. Is I really believe I have a really one of the greatest jabs in boxing, and so I think it'd be a good way I can demonstrate that too. Where optically he should have the better jab, but if I'm out jabbing somebody that's 6'5", how does that really look? And so that's something I really want to control on the optics of it too.
Did you watch his last fight before last that went 10 rounds with Eric Bazianen from Canada? Okay. Because that was a tight fight.
It was. That's ultimately where I'm getting my point at too. Like, Bazinian, I think he's like ranked 3rd or something in the WBA. He's ranked up there somewhere in the WBA. And we've had common opponents. We have had a common opponent in Alan Campa, where Alan Campa, they went the distance with him. And I think Alan Campa even won some rounds. I fought Alan Campa back in October on that fight on the Zerto card, stopped him in the first round. So here's another like-minded opponent in Lantez Fox, who that was a very close fight. I think it was a majority decision where one of the cards they had as a draw, I think. And so
yeah, 95,
again,
95.
make a statement like this, then it really can kind of show like, okay, y'all have Bazinian ranked like 3rd in the WA. We have common opponents, and you can see the difference on how I fared against these opponents compared to him. Yeah, it's an easy argument to make for me to climb the rankings, so.
He's actually number 2 in the WBA That argument, though, I've been to a few of the conventions. That argument that you're planning to make, would that be in a petition, or would you be making that argument live at one of the conventions? I guess the next one would be, this winter 2024 for the WBA.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something that's on my mind. I wouldn't necessarily petition, but I mean, I could. But the thing is, I'm gonna have plenty more fights after this one. Plan to stay extremely active this year. I still want to have like 5 to 6 fights this year as I can. This is my first 10-rounder. If I can stay busy like that, there's no way else for me to climb the rankings. And I just want my actions. I really don't want to have to petition anything, right? I much rather what I do in the ring can demonstrate and talk for myself. And so I am just stating that because it is true. And when you go, I went to the WA convention back in December, and I kind of seen how everything was operating when people come up to petition. And they always make those same arguments. Oh, this person did this person did that. Y'all got this person ranked here, but this guy did this. So I know how it works. And I'm pretty sure somebody on my behalf will go and will petition for me. But again, that's not my job. My job is just to win and to put on performances that the fans love.
For sure. The knockout streak, is that something you think about? Is it something that you would like to keep going? I mean, Edgar Berlanga got so much hype for having that knockout ratio and being able to get people out of there in the first round. And you look at guys like Artur Beterbiev and Virgil Ortiz, it's easier to sell someone that can get knockouts. Tank, Wilder, these names are kind of household names within boxing.
Right. So now I don't put too much pressure on myself. And when you watch the broadcast, they talk about that all the time. I've told them in the fighter meetings, like I don't buy into my own hype like that. Like I'm not gonna sit here and believe, I'm the greatest puncher, because when you believe that and you hold really true to that, you limit yourself. You start relying on it a little too much. And that goes in all aspects of boxing. Same thing I said about a tall fighter, and he think, I got a great jab, and they rely on that jab. But when that doesn't work, then what happens? We got to be in a game that's extremely versatile. And when you kind of rely just on one thing, you limit yourself. And so I've never gotten high on my hype of this knockout streak, and me thinking like that helps me out, because whenever you try to force a knockout, it never happens. It never does. I don't know why. And I've experienced this in my fights live where I would see an opening, and it's wide open. It's huge. I'm like, this is the shot that's going to knock him out. Boom, nothing. Then the shot that I just threw is the one that puts him down. And I'm like, well, dang, like I didn't even think that was going to be the one. And so kind of understanding that logic, I don't go looking for it, and I don't think I have the style for it. I think I have a style similar to Lomachenko of making guys quit more than anything.
Okay. I see you fought Najee Lopez in the amateurs. Was that at 2 or what? It was 2.
Yeah, that was at 201. Yep.
So, in the amateurs, that's considered light
heavyweight.
Oh, heavyweight.
No, that was heavyweight. Yep. So that heavyweight, then above that is super heavyweight.
Because I remember interviewing you when you were with S-Jam Boxing.
Yeah.
And, I thought possibly you were going to stay at heavyweight, but...
Hold on, I lost you.
No worries. I thought you were going to stay at heavyweight, but obviously you've been able to get down. How hard has that transition been, and do you feel that it's been an advantage? Because we know guys like David Benavidez was 250. Obviously, he was a young kid, but we see he goes into camp 4 months. It takes some time to get that weight off, and he's 190-something on fight night. Are you getting an advantage by bringing yourself down because you were a heavyweight in the amateurs?
I'll tell you the thing about me. So when I fought in the amateurs, I actually was fighting up a weight class. So my true weight was never 201. I was walking around 183, and I was used to fighting bigger guys. And my advantage in the amateurs was I was a lot faster than them. But the advantage has helped me now in the pros is I've learned a lot on how to nullify somebody's power. Um, that's a big thing I've realized, through a lot of camps that I've been through. Especially with guys that rely on their power, like that stuff doesn't necessarily really work on me. I know how to nullify that. And I've been through it through the amateurs. A lot of them guys was way bigger than me. Najee at the time, Najee has gotten a lot smaller, but at the time Najee was way bigger than I was.
Yeah, I mean, he's still big. Like,
And
he's trying to get down himself,
yeah,
but he's still at 175. Like I said, you've been able to
yeah.
make it the super middleweight.
Yeah. And so one thing I'll tell you about me for sure, I don't play by my weight. Like that's something I get down way ahead of time because I know what that can do to you, you know? I've been through it in the amateurs and you're talking about doing these week-long tournaments and you gotta weigh in on Monday, fight Monday night. After the fight, you gotta go cut weight so you can fight again Tuesday. By like the end of the tournament, I was drained. I didn't have nothing left. And to a lot of people who do cut a lot of weight, like they feel like, oh, if I fight smaller, then I'll fight better. No, that's not always a truth. Like you lose a lot of yourself doing that, and so it hasn't been a strain on me making the weight. Like I'm a professional at the end of the day, So I got to make the weight easy. But the big advantage is I've been used to fighting bigger, stronger guys, and I know how to nullify power, and at the same time. I still am athletic. I'm still quick myself. So even going down to smaller weight, the speed doesn't play a factor either.
So, are you still with SJM Boxing? What's your managerial position at the moment? And how did you make the link with Golden Boy?
So no, I'm not with SGM Boxing anymore. We parted ways. I'm now with 3PM 3 Point Management, and so they have other fighters in Zerto Ramirez, Scrappy Ramirez, Kareem Hackett. So they got a couple good talent guys, and so I've connected with them, and they have a real good, strong relations with Golden Boy. And so
How'd that link come about? Sorry to cut you off, but I know that Zuldo helped out Scrappy, and then
yeah.
Scrappy got signed, and now he's with Golden Boy and also being managed by Zuldo. So just want to see if this was a Zuldo thing to give him his credit,
So what ended up happening was I actually went out to camp with Zerto back when he was fighting Bivol. So I went out to Dubai with them, and I spent a lot of time with those guys, man. And I seen how genuine and how hardworking they were. I was in the house with them, spent so much talking with them, asking them a lot of questions, and I built up a really good relationship with them. So that's originally how it came about. My network with them was I went out as a sparring partner for them in preparation for the Bivol fight.
Let me interject here. So, did you learn any Spanish overseas in college or school? Because, I mean, I know Scrappy is more in the city, but he got to know Spanish, and Zurdo certainly all Spanish. So how's the communication and the vibe? Because obviously you became their friend, so somehow you got past that language barrier, if there was one. For all I know, you can start speaking Spanish.
No. I unfortunately I don't speak Spanish. I mean, it's something I've been saying I need to learn, especially being a Golden Boy. Like understand marketability wise, and just even connecting with people. I need to learn Spanish. But their English, Scrappy's English is really good. And so is Zerto's. And the whole team's English is really good. So there is no language barrier that I had to like overcome or anything like that.
Was there a point where maybe you felt down or like things weren't going to go the way they should with everything that took place? Because I want to say you were kind of with Probellum at one point. So was there a dark moment? And did you know? Am I losing you?
I can hear you a little bit. It's kind of
yeah, kind of sounds bad there. Is that me or you? Okay.
All right, man. Me.
So yeah, like, was there a dark moment for you? Did you think, man, my career is over now that I'm in this? Because you've obviously got past that. You're with one of the big three, is what we like to call them, one of the big three promoters. So, you obviously landed on your feet and bounced back well. But, if there was a moment of doubt or darkness, could you let us know for those fighters that go through these situations and don't know how to come out from the other side?
It's a tough thing. I think, especially the journey I went through was a journey of perseverance. So background on my story. I graduated in nursing. I graduated nursing in 2019, and then I went off to join Team USA, try to go for the Olympics. COVID kind of ruined those plans or whatnot. But during this time, it's always important to mention that, like, I don't necessarily really need boxing. At any point, I can always go and do nursing and have a very comfortable life. And but my message really is about chasing your dream. Like, this is my life. This is what I thrive on. This is what I love to do every single day that I wake up. And through those dark times that you're talking about, that's something I could easily revert it back to. I could have said, man, I can go work in nursing. Like, there was a point in time, didn't have no income, didn't have nothing coming in. I was broke, and I refused. I said, no, because if I go back into nursing, I knew that I was going to be too comfortable, and I lost my drive to really chase my dream. And so, man, I'll tell you, this was how long? This was a month, almost a year, man. I was having to stick it out. I wasn't fighting, I wasn't active, and that then goes into now. The past year in 2023, I fought 6 times in like a span of 7 months. I know what it was like not fighting, you know, and I'll never take that for granted again. Any opportunity I get to fight, I'm trying to fight, you know. And luckily, I'm in a position. 3 p.m. has really helped me out a lot to put me in the position I'm at now, with Golden Boy. And Golden Boy, and I feel like they get a lot of slack, but Golden Boy's been treating me great. I'm not gonna lie. You know, they keep me extremely active, step me up, give me good competition on a great platform like the Zone. And none of this would have happened if it wasn't for the perseverance. Like, I could easily say, man, forget this. This has got too hard, and I could have went and did that. But like, I had to really go through the trenches in those, like, man, that could have been 9 months to a year, but it was worth it. I mean, look where I'm at now. I'm in a great position, and now it's really about just capitalizing on that.
Yeah, man, they certainly are, like you said, giving you, the platform and the right opponents. We made money with you with the Pacino fight. I thought he was
Oh,
going to be a
let's
little
go.
bit, yeah, but I thought he was going to be a little bit tougher than that for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it
So,
took Omari Jones 6 full rounds to get the stoppage, and I'm high on Omari. I get to see him spar all the time in Vegas. Right now I'm in Florida, but when I'm in Vegas, I get to see him spar regularly. Like Tim Tszyu, I mean, Shawn McCalman, anybody.
yeah.
So I was super impressed with what you did and how you were able to do it in such a short amount of time. Not to say that, Pacino is some sort of world beater, but like, he's a durable guy,
Pacino is durable. I was telling
Yeah.
a lot of people about that too. Like, people can say anything they want about Pacino and be like, "Oh, he's a bum." The word "bum" is thrown around so much in boxing. It's crazy, And he's not like the greatest talent, but the dude is durable. And I was telling everybody that. I was like, one thing about me, I've been like, man, I really need to get some rounds in for real, because, it's gonna come a time, when the competition really stiffen up, and I need to make sure I'm well prepared going further than 3 rounds. All my fights haven't really went that long, and I was like, Pacino's a good opponent for that. I've seen in plenty of fights him with Amari, him with Javier Martinez, where
And with
he,
Truck. He
he
took Truck
yeah,
6
with Truck,
rounds.
same thing, where and they was pummeling him. Like, they was really putting some hands on him, and he was like a dog, still fighting back. And so that was an ultimate surprise to me, because even in the fight, I was surprised. I was like, man, I actually thought he was going to be a lot more durable than this, you know. But I do have a lot of respect for him, because I think he is a true fighter, and I like him a lot. Even talking to him after the fight, he seemed like a solid dude.
For sure, for sure. I got a couple questions here from the people before we let you go. First one is James Valdez in San Antonio, Texas. He says, are you intrigued by the main event? Who do you see winning this fight and how? Jaime Munguia, obviously John Ryder.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by it. Like, I mean, for anybody that's boxing fans, they got to know this has like possibility of being like a fight of the year type fight. And I only say this because, I mean, you think Jaime Munguia, they got fight of the year last fight when he fought Derevchenko. And him and John Ryder have a style that kind of clashes, that's kind of meant for like an all-out war type of fight. And so, in saying that, I'm extremely interested to watch it. I think it's going to be a banger. I do think Munguia is going to come out on top, though. If I had to give my prediction, don't lose any money off my word, though. Don't blame me if you bet on that and it don't come true. But if I had to say, I think Munguia is going to get the win. But nonetheless, I think it's going to be an entertaining night for the fans to watch.
I actually, I want to say Munguia is going to get the win, but I think it's going to be more difficult than anybody has realized because Correa is the only southpaw that Munguia has faced probably in his entire career, and that was only one fight ago.
And he has like 43 fights. He has like 43 fights.
And that means that you've only fought one southpaw, and he's not even high level. Now you're about to fight, I mean, a guy, you know, the biggest thing that his team has to bank on or betters is what did Ryder lose by not surrendering, by not letting his team throw in the towel, because he went 12 with Canelo. He got battered, though.
He did get battered.
Did we lose something of Ryder because he took so much freaking punishment trying to be tough? Sometimes you need your team to stop that fight so you can live the fight another day.
Yeah.
I got Baby Joker that says, Abraham from El Paso, do you still visit El Paso? If so, I'm a photographer and would like to do a shoot if you ever out here training. Any plans in the future of fighting at the Don Haskins Arena? Maybe you and Mosley Jr.? Salute. Stay blessed. Hashtag Baby Joker.
Shout out my guy. So, yeah, I was born in El Paso. That's why he said that. So, I haven't been to El Paso in a very long time. But I think I actually do have plans of coming out there in March. I have a friend that's fighting out there. So I think we may make a trip out that way. So we definitely got to, my Instagram is Darius Fulghum, just my name. Tap in with me, and then we'll try to set something up for sure when I come out that way. As far as the Shane Mosley fights in a different weight class as me. He really campaigns at 160. I don't really see a fight with me and Shane Mosley happening. I'm not opposed to it for sure, but we're not in the same weight class. Even though I know he's fought at 168 before, I don't think that's something he wants to really do. So hopefully that answers your question. Not opposed to it, but I doubt that it happens.
Yeah, he had won a belt at 68. I always thought he was going to get the Berlanga fight. It just makes sense for Berlanga that it's kind of popular but doesn't have a name, so fighting the son of a legend would help his popularity. That never happened. So I don't know. We got a bunch here from Sir Wisdom. Last question. Golden Boy Promotions versus Top Rank. 5 versus 5 matchups. Who would you match up with? I don't know if you've seen that, but Turkey Al-Sheikh has obviously used his influence to make Matchroom and Queensberry do a 5-on-5. So that's been a hot topic now. Who would you match up? Who would you want to match up with in a Golden Boy versus Top Rank? So you're 68. I don't think they have 68 pounders.
That's what I'm going to say. So the kind of issue with Top Rank, even with me and Top Rank, is Top Rank doesn't really have anybody at 168. The guy that they had was Berlanga, but they don't obviously have Berlanga anymore. But as far as 68, they don't really have any. They don't have any champions. They don't have anybody really contending there. So, my answer, what I'll tell you is actually it would be Better BF at 175. I'm not opposed to 175 fighting Better BF.
Wow, even after watching what he did to Callum, you still want that fight?
Man, listen, I'm trying to be great, and the only way to be great is to fight greats. And even on that note, that's something I want to mention. I remember when I was watching the Benavidez and Andrade fight. I remember texting my manager. I said, "Man, I can't wait. Just in time, bro. Especially when I get to the level I'm trying to get to, man. I want that Benavidez fight so bad." And my mentality is a lot different because I know what I'm trying to accomplish in the sport. I really want to be a generational fighter, and I know how people look at Benavidez. He's done such a great job with his career. He's put on great performances, but the public opinion of him is solidified. He's the Mexican monster, and so
wow.
I look at that. I think.
So you want to fight them? I don't think anybody's called him out besides Morrell.
Of course, everybody's gonna be dug up from him. But you got to think on if you're really trying to do anything in the sport for real. Like those are the guys that you got to really beat. You know, a lot of stuff's kind of money driven too. At the end of the day, which you got to understand is the business of it. You know, like a lot of these fights have to be groomed to make happen. So like Spence and Crawford, if they were to fight their very first, it's the most hyped up fight that happens. If they fought their first fight, if they fought each other in their pro fight, their pro debut, nobody would care because it hasn't been built up. You know, a lot of things had to be built up over time. And I look at somebody like even like Morrell. You know, Morrell is not as solidified as Benavidez is. I feel like there's still question marks on him. You know, because he hasn't beat like any upper echelon talent. And so, um, say if I was to fight Morrell and I beat him, it's like, oh, Morrell just really wasn't that good. He was all hype. But Benavidez, though, ain't no way anybody gonna say Benavidez is all hype. You know, you take a name like that, you got to get your respect. You know.
I think obviously that's a very difficult fight to make because he has his sights set on the Arthur Beterbieves and the Canelos of the world. But
Oh no.
I think a way to get
I want to make something clear to him on me saying that is that, and I said this in my post-fight interview, my last fight. I'm not in a position really to call anybody out. I know that for sure. Like, because anybody's gonna be like, man, who is Darius? You know, me right now. I'm still a very high risk, low reward. I don't have a big enough name for anything like that, and I recognize that. To clear it up, I'm not in a position to call anybody out for real like that. But I know in the future, those are the
that
fights
you
that I
are
do
though.
want.
I think that you are. You just got to go about it differently. Obviously, it'll fall on deaf ears if you're calling out Benavidez because we all want the Canelo fight, but you come after his pup. This fight, do us a favor, post-fight, if you knock out Alantes, call out Pacheco. It's doable. He's in the camp. He's trained by the father. He's top 5. He's top 5 in your division. He spars with Benavidez. There's really no way you can't beat Pacheco and get a Benavidez fight, in my opinion. I mean, right now, I just interviewed the father last week, and they're willing to fight Christian Mabili. You're not too far off.
Who are you talking about, Pacheco or Benavidez?
Benavidez.
Benavidez and Mabili?
They're willing to fight Mabili, so that's what I'm saying. You're not too far off. If you can beat a guy like Pacheco who's on a 9-fight knockout streak, he just got a fight announced. He's going to be fighting Shawn McCalman, which is a great fight.
It's a good fight.
I love Shawn. I'm shocked he actually took that fight because Pacheco's punching. You know what I'm saying? Pacheco's a puncher. But I think that's a route. Pacheco doesn't have opponents. They've been trying to do Berlanga forever. So if someone points their attention at him, yeah, I think that can open that door for the Benavidez fight for sure. All his fights are with Senior. So he's been with David from 0-0. So there's no way that win over Pacheco will go unnoticed by David, in my opinion. But I don't know. I got a couple more before we let you go.
Okay.
You wanted to add anything?
No.
Okay. James in Atlanta, I've been a fan, and I'm not going to tell you to step it up because you already are. My question is, how are you protecting your mental health? A lot of fighters struggle with anxiety through their careers, protecting their O's. So how are you balancing things out? Protect your mental health and wish you a great career.
Man, I appreciate that, bro. And that's a great question to ask because that's something I've been extremely I advocate a lot on that with a lot of people on my team and stuff. I can't stress enough on how important it is when you go into a fight that you go in clear-minded, that you go in stress-free. I take extreme pride on making sure that going into a fight that I eliminate all the stresses that I got going in my life. Because I don't think we really understand, you go into a fight that all the stuff that you got going on at home, stuff you got maybe going on, bills or stuff with your family or stuff with your kids or whatever it is, that stuff shows in the ring if you allow it to. Like, we're not really as clear focused as we think we are when we got a lot of stuff stressing us out. So I take a lot of pride on just making sure that going into a fight that I'm as clear-minded as possible, and I control a lot of my expectations. So I spend a lot of time talking to myself and really trying to get clear and focused on what I got to do. Very hard to do though, because there's a lot of stress you got going, especially in the business of boxing. Things aren't always going to go your way, but you got to be flexible and adapt to it.
Last one is coming from Flacco38. He says, from Sacramento, California, watched the Golden Boy debut, was impressed. You think you can get Shane Mosley Jr. fight? Think that would elevate you? I just double-checked. He fought 2 fights at 68. Both went to decision. Since then, dropped back down to 60. Both fights were by knockout. I highly doubt he's going back up. He must didn't like fighting at 68. Obviously, the weight and the power was different. He's been able to come back to 60 and get 2 knockouts over half decent names. I mean, Demetrius Ballard, biggest name of the 2. So I don't know that fight's going to happen unless you can get down. Is 68 your limit?
Yeah, I'm not going below 68. I could, honestly, but if me making 60 would probably hurt me a lot. I wouldn't be able to perform to my best potential. So there's no need for me to do that. And especially not for Shane Mosley, maybe for a Janibek, I don't know. Like only for a world title it meant something. But for Shane Mosley, I don't think.
How much is it gonna take out of you though? You don't want to get down for a unification and then you feel drained.
Yeah, it's a lot of things, a lot of variables to really think about, but. Specifically on the question of Shane Mosley, I don't see that happening unless he's to come over to 68. Again, not opposed to it, but it just seems very unlikely.
Chad in Canada, do you feel like you're on a collision course with David Morrell?
My answer is going to be yes. I think that because, I'm going through the WBA circuit, I want to title with the WBA. He's the champion in WBA right now. Probably can only be a matter of time. It's weird though, function because he trains out in Houston. We sparred together before, so I'm not sure on how his team.
Wait, how long ago was that? How long ago was that? When he first got here, or recent? Y'all still sparring?
No, that was recent. It wasn't that long ago. It was
for that Becco fight.
Yeah, yeah, for that fight. Cause I was sparring with him right before mine. Mine was December 2nd.
So do you spar with Yoenis Tellis too?
No, I never spar with him.
Oh, cause he's out there with Ronnie. He's 160, I believe.
Yeah, no, I never spar with him. I seen him in the gym though, but I don't really go over to Ronnie's too much to go spar. It never really happens.
What gym are you at?
I train at this gym called Four Corners. It's a gym out in Houston.
I feel like I've heard of that. Were some young amateur twins there? What's the Philadelphia Twins, right? I've been to that gym. I know the owner. He's a heavyset dude.
Yeah, the Grady Twins.
The Grady Twins was out of there.
Yeah, my homie, me and Zach, Zach Spiller, we train together.
Yes, Zach's my guy. Zach, man, he impressed me. He did some magic versus Hergovich one day. I was
Zach's that guy, man. It's just as far as business wise goes, just take a little bit of time to get him really going and stuff, and think Zach can really make some noise in the division for sure.
Nah, they selling people out in the heavyweight division. That's what it is. Like right now, they offering people like $12,000 to jump in the ring with the dude Bob Santos got Leonard Perot.
Oh yeah, like the Cuban guy.
Yeah, it's like, bro, this dude's got mad amateur record. He's a puncher, and you only giving people $6,000 to $12,000. Ain't nobody gonna do that.
No.
I don't know, man, but
not happening
at all. But that's definitely. I can't wait for people to hear this interview. That's definitely brave of you, man. People have Morrell as this boogeyman. So now that you are in the WBA rankings, you've sparred him. There's obviously no fear there. How is the power though? Because they have him as this obviously killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can attest to it. One thing I would say about Morrell is he is strong. And I'm not gonna lie, that did surprise me. Like even watching his fights, I didn't think he was that strong, but being in the ring with him, he is very strong for sure. I won't take that away from him.
So what do you think you have? What advantage do you have over him? Do you think it's the weight, being as though you're coming down, or do you think he's just as big? What advantage would you say you have over him? Is it IQ? Because he comes from
No,
that Cuban school too.
now I would tell you though, my IQ I think is gonna be above everybody else. Especially as more time goes on, and the more that I'm learning the sport, I think my IQ is only gonna grow and get better and better each fight. The thing that strength, I told you my big thing is I know how to nullify people's strength, so I'm not necessarily worried about that. I think the biggest advantage he probably has over me, even though we have about the same amount of fights, pro fights, is I think experience. I think he's probably got more experience than I do as far as, I think he's had a fight that has gone the distance. I think he went 10 rounds before. So I think as of right now, I think that's the advantage that he has over me. But my IQ, I think, is above everybody else's.
And this is your second fight with Golden Boy, right?
No, this is, I think, my fourth. Let me see, one,
But
uh,
but under
one, two,
the new
three.
deal though, right? Because you had some audition fights. This is how many of those fights are part of your deal?
This, I think, will be my third.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think this will be my third.
Nice. They definitely are invested in you. So, who you deal with? Oscar, B-Hop, or Eric?
I try to stay out of the business stuff. My management
Oh,
kind of deal with them, but I'm real tight with all of them though. Like, I want to make that clear. We all got a good relationship. I talk with B Hop a lot. B Hop's been a real good mentor for me, and B Hop's really been supporting me all the way. He's the one that talks highly of me the most, and that's something that means a lot to me because you got to understand. I mean, just like you, if you were to vouch for somebody and you're like, hey, yo, this guy's the truth, then that takes a lot for you to do that because your credibility is everything. And so for B-Op to do that for me, that means a lot. And like I said, I can't let him down.
for sure, man. Well, those are all the questions. We do appreciate you giving us some time. I hate now actually saying good luck because, Canelo made it a thing where, like, oh, luck is for the mediocre. So, you
Ah,
know, at the end of the day, no, we wish you the best on your fight
hey,
and hope you
appreciate
get
that,
that
man.
win, man.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you, man. I'm gonna do my thing. I
All right.
appreciate your time too and having me on.
Likewise, give out your social media for anybody that isn't following can do so.
Oh, yes, just my name is Darius Fulghum, Darius Fulghum.
All right. Thank you so much. There
All
we
right,
have
folks.
it, ladies and gentlemen. Darius Fulghum.
All right, my guy.
All right. So that was pretty good. Let's get back out to these callers. We got Amazon Prime still on the check-in and center counter. What is up? I like that, though. He want to fight Morrell. He want to fight Benavidez. He talking about Archer. He's sparring Morrell, so you know it ain't fake. I love it. Amazon Prime, we went to you in the meantime, in between time. Chopper.
Yo, man. What up, Ness?
What's up?
Hey, man. Shout out to my guy, Darius, bro. Shout out to my guy, Darius and Zach. I actually went to school with Darius, man. And
Oh, dope.
yeah, man. And I used to box. I still box, bro, but I work in the oil field, so I don't really have that time to train like I used to. But I got a video of me and him sparring, bro, and I actually sent it to you on Twitter. And yeah, man, it's just dope to see my guy moving up, man, and doing his thing. So I'm just shouting him out, man. That's pretty much all I got. You're gonna get that dub this Saturday, man. Shout out to CBB.
Appreciate you, champ. Shout out to Darius, man. That was a dope interview. Phone lines are open if you want to call in. We got Aiden, $2. Consistent content for the community after work. Appreciate you, Aiden. You know we want you to join the members gang. Where my members at, man? Watch for the hook, $5. I remember seeing Darius at the Legion of Boom gym in Tyler, Texas. He dropped the dude with a body shot. Big Stepper 254, $5. Ernest from the 254. What up, my guy? When I get a chance to come train with you, I'm coming to the H. Big salute to you. Bring home that dub Saturday. That must have been you, right? That must have been Big Chopper. Is Big Stepper. Because it sounded like could have been the same. Benitez, what up? Atlanta.
Yo, Ness, you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Man, what a great interview, man. Great interview, man. Great content, man.
Appreciate it.
Man, it's fighters like him, man, that still makes boxing still be bright, man. You know, showing a bright future, man. Not only he's educated, has a backup plan, but man, he's going for the gusto, man. He knows that he's on the collision course, and I truly believe, man, that he's like 1 or 2 fights away from a David Morrell fight, man. And since he came out, since it was announced that he signed with Matchroom a couple of years ago, was it 2 years ago, right, when they had that big announcement he got signed with Matchroom?
Who? Darius? He with Golden Boy.
Darius. Golden Boy. That's what I meant to say. Golden Boy. When he got signed to Golden Boy 2 years ago, 2021, when I saw that, I think a lot of people were shocked. They're like, damn, man, how did Golden Boy even sign a nigga? Like, well, he's going to be, he's going to be shelves, he's going to be this, he's going to be that. But it seemed like they doing him right, kind of like what he said, man, because he looks like he's on a good trajectory. This next fight, I know he's going to do well in that next fight against Fox. And honestly, I threw some names to you in the background. You probably don't like none of them names, but he just needs a name that people are still more familiar with. That's why I said Ronald Ellis or even Jason Quigley or something like that will possibly be good next opponents for him after this fight, before he gets a Morrell fight. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Do you like any of those opponents for him?
I mean, before Morrell fight, hell yeah, all those opponents are good names. You know what I mean? Because he needs that development. But I don't know. Jason Quigley, isn't he small? Kevin Newman is good. Kevin Newman is actually good, but you know, I don't know. Can he knock out Kevin Newman? That might be a durable name. That might be worth it, just to check his power and stuff. Newman just got the win over Quilestro. It's not bad.
You know, and I think Ronald Ellis, even if he got those two, got Newman and that Ellis back-to-back or whatnot, I think he'll be more than ready for David Morrell. Because those guys, maybe not Newman, but at least Ellis, he had at least fought some elite competition or whatnot, and he's a little crafty. He'll probably learn a lot in the ring before going into a Morrell. Other than that, with this topic right here, man, I'm going with Hitchins all the way, man. I'm going with Hitchins all the way. And Pacheco, McCallum, I'm not familiar with McCallum, but you said good things about him. I'm still not sure if it's an upset. I'm going to have to find some footage on YouTube before I make a real opinion. But I got Pacheco as well at this moment in time. Other than that, Ness, man, I'm just glad that we actually talking a hardcore topic and we actually introducing people to other fighters besides the Tank and Devin and other things like that. Because there's a lot of rising stars that are coming out of the sport. And, my last thing before I go, do you think that Darius gets overlooked as a prospect because of his age? Because I was thinking that too. I was like, man, he can't be prospect of the year because people are looking at these 21, 22, and 23-year-olds.
Nah,
while Darius is 27,
age don't play a factor in prospect. Prospect is your record. Prospect is where you at in the sport.
You don't think so? Because, I mean, shit, because people be judging Frank Martin and shit like he damn near a journeyman or whatnot because he's a little older than them other young guys.
Because he didn't have his title shot. You know, and people always going to be mean. They always going to, look for a way to make a joke and be, funny.
Be on some bullshit. Yeah, other than that, that's my call, Ness, man. Hey, shout out to you, man. Shout out to the community, man. I'm gone.
Appreciate you, man. Chad, Canada, what it do? Actually, Chad, give me a second, man. Amazon, are you there? You do got a counter, but I haven't heard you. Yo, you might need to jump out, jump back in, Amazon. Chad, talk to us.
Hey, Ness. Shout out James Benitez, my man, with a good call. And I got to say, the TBV just killing it with content lately, man. Like the interviews, I mean, I'm going to say like 60-70% are guys that I see their names. I'm excited that they're going to be on. And then you're introducing me to guys that I don't know too, you know? So loving that, the content and also the stuff that you guys are putting up, the gym footage and all that's great too, man. For anybody that's, you know, so put your $3 up and become a prospect, man. Become a member. You get to ask these guys questions. You got to check out all this footage. I'm enjoying the channel a lot lately. Like at first it was just about the lives, but lately all the content's really hitting, man. And as far as Fulghum goes, I called in earlier today talking about him. Can't say enough about him. Darius, if you're still listening, yeah, you definitely making fans. The real fans are watching and see, man. And yeah, I would say to James Benitez, I know what he was saying about asking about age and stuff. I mean, like, I think fans are going to down him just for that, you know, how they always do. But I love the fact that he's got his shit together. Like the fact that he was able to go complete nursing and get his full degree in that and everything. I mean, I feel like that kind of discipline is related to boxing, you know, like I see it with my own kids. The discipline that boxing provides you in every other area of your life, you know, that's a huge accomplishment for him. And what a great thing to know, like, you know, you got an in-demand job if boxing just, you know, I'm sure that's helping him carry himself through the industry, you know, because he probably doesn't reek of desperation, right? When you know that, you know, you got something like that to fall back on. But anyway, I hope he goes as far as he can, as far as he wants to go. And I love the smoke from Morrell, man. The Morrell fans are going to go crazy when they hear that, man. They're going to go nuts. And the funny thing is, half of them probably don't even know who he is. So that's going to be the fun part, listening to them go nuts. But other than that, Ness, I just wanted to big up the show, big up you, Danny, and all the fans, everybody, all the real heads listening tonight, right? All right. Thanks, Ness.
All right, player. Appreciate you. We got boxing fan.
Yo, what up, Ness? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yo, shout out to you, Ness. Hope everything's good with you, bro. God bless you, bro. Hey, man, Hitchins and Lemos, I like this fight, bro. You know, I think it's a decent fight, but I think I'm more intrigued for Pacheco. Ness, if once Pacheco's victorious, man, like, who you think he should have a step-up match? Because I don't think it's going to be Berlanga, bro. Like, who would you say would be that step-up match for him? Even though I know he had it his last fight, but I want to see him there with a name, bro.
Step up fight. Wow. We need to give him a former world champ, bro. He needs like Billy Joe Saunders, like maybe a Caleb Truax, a Caleb Plant. I don't think he'll be able to get a Caleb Plant. Maybe Carlos Gongora. Maybe Carlos Gongora.
Oh, that's a good one.
He was the former IBO champ.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe Callum Smith. Callum Smith, or nah, he's at 75. I mean, he could fight. I don't know what the dude that Morrell got his title from, Lennox Allen. I don't know if he's inactive or not. But that was a former WBA regular champ. Maybe that's a good regular. He need a former champ for sure. Potentially a former champ with a decent name, though, you know? Someone known.
Do you think, Ness, that he should have been the main event instead of Hitchins? I
Bro,
mean, no knock on Hitchins. Bro.
No knock. But I felt like holy shit. Like I mean, I thought Pacheco was already headlining, right? Didn't they take him to Mexico and shit? Like That was weird, yeah.
He had a homecoming in LA. I mean, Eddie should have built off of that, bro.
Yeah, I don't know,
You know, like
man. I don't know. Maybe. I don't even know. I don't even know how that happened. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, I mean, cause I hit up Eddie, you know, cause sometimes Eddie be replying to me, bro, and I told him, yo, Eddie, what the fuck? No knocking Hitchins, I like Hitchins, but like, come on, Pacheco, like, you know, he's
Ooh,
headlining. How you
Ustatagi. That's a
gonna...
perfect name. Ustatagi.
Hey, yo, that's a good fucking fight, Ness. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good one. I like that one. Well, that's my
Mm-hmm.
call, Ness. Shout out, bro, and stay safe and God bless, Ness.
All right, Dan, they just announced a good fight on Boxer. I fucking hate that it's on Boxer, bro. Nobody's gonna watch this fight, bro. This is Sky Sports, Chris Congo versus Florian Marku. Hopefully fucking Congo could get rid of Marku and shit. Marku whack. He don't do it for me. Even though he's kind of been turning around, I guess I shouldn't be a hater. He has been kind of turning it around in his last 2 fights or so. Amazon trying you again. Amazon. All right. Amazon, no Amazon, Amazon, no Amazon. Okay. All right. Well, that means that's all the callers, and I got to all the super chats. Till the next one, arrivederci. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Right back at you. More boxing talk. Peace.